accounting pros who keep businesses moving because you deserve to feel proud, confident, and seen. And we have a wonderful guest today. Laurie O'Neil is joining us, and we can't wait for you to hear her story. But first, here's Deb with our Partner of the Week, Ramp.
Well, I'm so excited. Our partner of the REAP is Ramp, and they're also hosting a Small Business Week, May 6th to 8th. So we want you to sign up for that. Donna, do we have a link that they can use for, just tell them?
The links are going in the chat. The links are going in the description. So we've got all that coming.
So we appreciate you use that link so we know that we sent you, and it's free, free to go. So, but Ramp is a financial operations platform that helps businesses manage spending, pay bills, track expenses, and close the books all in one place. 60,000 plus businesses use Ramp, saving 10 billion and 2.75 million hours collectively. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate chasing clients for receipts. It's the biggest time sink for all of us. But Ramp matches 70% of receipts automatically within 24 hours. No follow-up, no shoebox, no crumbled paper at the end of the month. Employees can submit expenses in under 15 minutes and 15 seconds versus text, Slack, or the app. Swipe the card, receipt gets captured, memo gets pre-filled. It's basically taking all of the stuff that we don't like doing and automating it. It's absolutely one of the most fabulous stuff. It integrates with Digits. It integrates with QuickBooks online. I don't know how they got so good at what they do, but you really ought to check it out. Spend controls are in place. Business owners set the rules, and Ramp enforces them with every swipe. The best part, Ramp is free for clients on QuickBooks and Xero, and they send their accounting partners. If you become an accounting partner with Ramp, you get $500 referral bonus for testing out the platform. So anyway, thank you, Ramp, for sponsoring us this week. We're excited that you are a partner of the week, and we want you to all go check out Ramp and go sign up for the free Small Business Week, May 6th to 8th. Okay.
All right. Now we're ready to meet Laurie O'Neil.
Oh, I'm thrilled she's here. I have known Laurie since I started this journey way back when I started working with Hal, which was almost 25 years ago. And I met Laurie on the AIPB message boards.
Yeah, grab your popcorn, because when Deb Kilsheimer comes through, it's going to be pretty good. It was a good time back then. I think everybody was back there, like Michelle Long and Nancy Gomez and Laura Lincoln and Stacey Kidell, and we always had
best. I loved that forum
time.
Because somebody would ask a question, and I don't know, it was the AIPB board. And I would spend hours doing that. And in fact, that's how Nancy Gomez said, you got to go to this conference, the Sleater conference. And it was in Orlando that year. And I said, okay, I'm going to go, because all of you were going. And I went there, and that's where I met you the first time. And of course, when you see one of the people you've admired from afar for so long, and I still have that picture that we took back in Orlando at the Sleater conference.
Way back when.
Way back when. And then, of course, I live here in Daytona, and Laurie has a Harley.
And I came down for Bike Week.
She came down for Bike Week.
and I called Deb, and I said, hey, I'm in town for Bike Week. And she's like, well, let's go have lunch. And so I met her for lunch.
And I was just so impressed. Laurie O'Neil, I said, I'm walking around like, Laurie O'Neil called me. I'm going to meet her for lunch. So I was just so excited. But that's how I met Laurie. We've become fast friends since then.
And I mean, and back then I was also doing a lot of coaching, teaching bookkeepers that they had to value package and really value themselves. I think a lot of bookkeepers undervalue who they are. And it's a standard thing. We love what we do, and we love to give a lot of things away for free. And it was really trying to teach people to put some boundaries in place when they grow their practice.
Now, how do they do that, though? So how do you teach people? Because I think that's important, too. Don and I both agree with that. So what is your message to bookkeepers and accountants out there? How can we do it?
I mean, a lot of times people forget when they take these certifications, part of the major thing of growing as a person is developing yourself, right? And taking a lot of these classes adds to that educational value. You've taken so much time to invest in you. You need to make sure that you're actually making sure that your prices are what they need to be. and it's evolved throughout the years because you talk about hourly and, they always said to you like, oh, well, what do you want to make in a year? And well, think big. That's all I have to say to you. But then you get to like value packaging and you can actually make more than the hourly rate per hour. And then that allows you to grow. I think one of the things in the industry is they always push to say, oh, you have to be this $1 million business. You don't have to be that $1 million business. But what you need to do is make sure that your personal goals are in line with your business goals. And a lot of people don't realize that. And I'm a prime example of that. I had a business coach that literally said to me, hey, what is your goal as a business? And I was like, oh, I want to grow to be $1 million business. And what are your personal goals? Well, I want to travel. Well, guess what? That doesn't always go hand in hand when you want to grow, because you have to invest time in order to get people in and build infrastructure. And it takes time. It takes time because you think people know what they know and they don't. And so you have to really think about what your pricing is going to be. Are you going to grow to be a company or are you going to be an individual? Because those are two different paths.
And you have staff, you have team members.
I do have team members and I have a really great team. This last year has been really difficult for me and they really were there for me and I'm really thankful for them,
Yeah.
I have had the same team members for a while, but I need to add 2 more people on. And
So you're hiring. So anybody, now can somebody apply that does remote?
So we have a physical office here. We do have a back office in India that helps us with some things, but everybody here is part of our team. We try to grow our camaraderie. I have one person that works solo outside of the office due to health reasons, but she's also been with me for 11 years.
Right.
So.
And you're up in Connecticut. Where are you? And I never can remember.
So right now I'm in East Hartford, Connecticut. And
where were you last week?
Last week I was in Turkey.
Last week she was
and
in
I have to tell
Turkey
you, like,
in a hot air balloon.
In a hot air balloon, and it was supposed to be in Cappadocia, and it actually ended up being Kumakal. So, which was great because it had the cotton castle that we floated over, and I have to say, that was much easier than horseback riding with Cindy Moore through Bryce Canyon. Just saying.
Yeah.
I took for 3 hours horseback riding through that.
Lori is, when she said she went to travel, she was serious. Now you have just recently, we got back from Turkey on Thursday. Today is the following Tuesday. And it was funny because Donna said, Lori hasn't confirmed her bookkeeping on fire. I said, she's in Turkey.
Yeah. I actually put 8 hours in Friday, and everybody who was on the trip was like, you're out of your mind. I'm like, I had to clear my desk. I'm officially back Monday, but I had to go through the mail, sort through everything else.
So you've been to Turkey, and where else have you gone? Because I know I love telling this story. She calls me up one day and she goes, I said, hey, Laura, where, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I said, where are you? Oh, I'm at the Taj Mahal. And I said, oh, you're in Atlantic City? No, I'm at the Taj Mahal in India.
In India.
I'm like, in India? Who did you go with? Oh, I went by myself. She goes to Dubai, India, and of course, because she's this beautiful blonde, she always gets a boyfriend.
I get an admirer. Let's refer
Yeah, I'll chase her around.
I just lost my partner in 24 years, so he was my rock.
Yeah. But all the boys, when she travels, they all think, they all go nuts over because you're blonde hair and,
But even in South Africa, so I went to South Africa, solo trip, and now I met these amazing, smart women that were teachers that travel with me. I met them in Croatia, and now I travel with them as well. And
I know, so because you're going somewhere pretty exciting this summer. Tell us where you're going this summer.
You're gonna think I lost my blinking mind. I'm doing a Teton Wagon tour out of Wyoming. Like Oregon Trail, like horse and buggy, horseback riding, axe throwing, hiking.
Oh my God!
And I have to tell you, I am not a camper.
No, Lori's she's a
and I'm
hotel
sleeping
girl.
outside for 4 days. I can do 4 days, right?
I think you can do it.
Right? And then we're doing Yellowstone after that. So,
Are you going to, in Yellowstone, now will they have cell service?
well, this is going to be a digital detox for me.
Okay. Do you think, that's a big deal?
It is a big deal. So we shall see. I'm sure I will take pictures and, because I love to, on my vacations, I post as I go, because otherwise I will forget where I'm at and what the history of it was, because everything starts, especially like in Italy, when you go through and you go through so many churches, you forget which church you've been at,
Right. So she posts,
alike.
so you follow her on Facebook because you post constantly where you are, what you're doing, what you see, so you can, she's a travel guide. When she travels, you can see where she goes. So it's kind of fun. Oh, where's she to this morning? And then she'll post pictures of her food, and she always take pictures of her cocktails.
Yep.
The important stuff, right?
The important stuff.
The important stuff. The important
It's just
stuff.
fascinating. I just, the courage you have, I just admire it so much.
Well, you also have to think, Deb, like I've been in this industry for 25 years. And we all started out as these workaholics, right? Because that's where we start. Because you're trying to get the money in the door, right? And that's the most important thing, making sure that, okay, now I got employees, I got to make sure I have the work coming in. And then suddenly you're working 50, 60 hours and you're like, whoa, when am I going to take time off? And then you don't.
Right.
And so when Ernie's brother passed, who was my other half that passed last year, it was a realization that I didn't want to wait for somebody to go traveling with, which has picked up my pace. And I probably do, it was funny when I went to Abbey Camp, the question was like, how many flights have I been on in the year? And, that was September that we were there.
Yeah.
And I think I had been on like 17 flights.
Yeah.
And then the next question was, how many countries have I been through? And that was more like 13.
Yeah.
Because I had done a cruise with my South Carolina ladies, and I had been to, we started in London, and we went to Germany, Poland, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Denmark, Sweden. That's 7 right there. And then I had been to South Africa, and I had a layover in Africa first, so, that adds a couple more.
And she runs a top firm in Connecticut. Now, who are your main clients? Do you have a niche? Who do you do?
So, when you have multiple employees, you really get away from a niche. We do a lot of professional services. Things I stay away from are inventory, manufacturing. I'm very specific. I'm actually, the Bar Association refers to me a lot. I work with a lot of attorneys that have been grieved. So I do a lot of that type of work. We do a lot of nonprofits. We do a lot of real estate, tech companies, and contractors, so a wide variety that we work with. And we I'm still that middle of the line. I have half my clients are still on desktop because
I was just going to say, you're a desktop lover. She loves desktop.
And I have half my clients. I have, 65 clients on QuickBooks Online. You know what I mean? So it's middle of the line. It depends on the small guy versus the large guy. And a lot of my clients I've had for, 12, 13 years. They're long-term clients. A lot of them are like family, they follow me on Facebook when I travel.
Yeah, cool. Now, have you always been an accountant? Is that what you trained to become? Is that what you went to school for?
So you have to understand, I started out in a shelter with a 5-week-old baby, trying to graduate high school. And then...
Now, did y'all hear that? She was in a shelter with a 5-week-old baby at 17.
Right.
So don't anybody tell me you can't achieve greatness. Just watch Laurie.
So, from there, I worked full-time, and then I went to school full-time. And I got a degree in accounting, and I worked for a small CPA firm, which was probably my worst job in my entire life.
Oh, really? What did you like about it?
Because I had a boss that was just, you're not thinking about it. It wasn't really a mentoring of, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it didn't deter me, and I ended up working for probably one of the best real estate companies in the state of Connecticut. I worked for Laz Parking. So I had a very social job in my 20s. I ran an 88,000 square foot facility in my mid-20s, going from show to show and putting shows together,
right?
And doing the accounting and the operations. And so when I left that, I became a controller of a recruiting firm, which I did probably 150 employees, 3 different states, and worked in recruiting. And, you know, I always wanted to start my own business. And my
So
boss,
what was the spark that made you finally leave? Because there always has to be some catalyst. Say, I'm done. Now I'm doing it. What was that for you?
my boss said push the shove if I wanted my job versus starting my business. And I didn't even have the clients, and I walked out the door and I started doing 8 networking events a month. And I just went from month to month about building rapport and relationship. It wasn't about getting the clients in the door, because if people know you, they trust you. And then they come in, and then it builds from there. And I always started with, if I got to about 30 hours, I would start looking for somebody else to transition in so that I can transition over and still bring more clients on. So it was always that, you know, the wheel. Like, I was very good at marketing, and not everybody is an extrovert. And, you know, sales is all about making sure you stay quiet. It's all about reaction, you know. Wow, really? What did you do? You know, and I was good at that. You know, I was good at the sales part of things. And
Right.
so,
And you know, when you work for yourself, people think, even accounting, if nothing happens unless something is sold. So if
Right.
you have your own firm, you better get good at sales, because
You
are
better
part
you
of the
better have
business.
has somehow get out there and do it.
So you went to
Even though it's
17
scary.
events a week.
Yeah.
What was that, like the Chamber of Commerce? What else did you go to?
oh, I did everything under the sun. In fact, I worked the door at the chamber just so that I could meet and greet people. Like, it wasn't
Oh my
about,
gosh,
like,
that's what I do too.
Right.
I did the same thing.
right.
I was
It was about,
volunteered
you know,
for the
it was free
front.
networking at that point.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know,
if
so-
somebody wants to do that, is there a trick that you say to everybody? Do you have a tip that you can give to people that want to try
know,
that?
That was so long ago, Deb, but what I could say to you is, like, you could always build a relationship with the chamber, because when you do enough of these events, they get to know you, and they're like, oh, well, do you need some help at the door? I'm happy to help out. You know, is there anything I can do? And they're always looking for somebody to help out.
Right. So you just have to step up and ask, right?
Right, right. If you don't ask, what's the worst that they're going to say? No.
Right.
Okay.
Right. The
You
worst is,
know?
okay, why don't you take out the trash?
But you know, the thing is back then I knew I wanted to grow a firm. So, like, I had put things in place, like an employment agreement, a non-compete, a handbook. I had done all of that within it. You know, we have had a number of people through, like, I've done a lot with Woodard Group, Reframe. The one thing I can say to you is, the more education you do for yourself, the better off you will be for you. Because that's the best thing that if you don't do any education, you're not going to grow as a person.
Right.
Part of me traveling and taking myself out of that comfort zone is me growing as a person, because I don't want to be in the same place. I don't want to have the same idealism. I want to have a broad, you know, like, I want to see the world, I want to experience it, I want to feel it, you know?
Right.
And so I knew that I wanted to grow a company, but one person that I would say, Les McCowan, if I had learned him 10 years earlier, it would have saved me a whole bunch of
Now,
heartache.
who was that? Who was that again?
He was the predictable success guy.
Okay, he's been at Woodard.
Yes, he's been at Woodard.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic. Not only, he's an Irish guy that's really funny. And, you know, part of realizing of how to build a company, you need to have a visionary and an operator. That's 2 people, but if you want to grow, you need that process-oriented person and a synergist. And the synergist is the person that sells your core company values. And those are the 4 things you need to
That's
grow.
4 people you need.
Correct.
Can you be all 4, or do you need somebody else? Can 2 be 2 and 2?
Well, you really need to be a visionary, an operator, and a processor.
Don, I think we have that. You know who's who?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It starts out with one person, you, and then it starts out with, then you start adding the other people and split those up, and then if you want to bring other people on. But I want to go back to one core thing that you said, is like, you knew where you wanted to take your business, so you created like a handbook, employee agreements, all those kinds of things, and then you went out and got people when you were ready.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's
Okay,
true.
so what I see all the time is people like, I have so much work, I just need to hire someone to help me. That is a disaster waiting to happen
It is.
because they
because
didn't
you're
do
not
any
protecting
planning.
you. What you're
Yes.
doing is you're trusting that people are going to come in with good intention, and that doesn't always happen. And it's hard because when you talk about remote office and how things are changing nowadays, it's going to change employment law as a whole. And so you have to think about how to strategize of, oh, well, in my contracts, I have a buyout that I put the number so high that they won't do it. And I also have it on the employment side that if they breach it, that they have to pay a number. So, you're looking to protect yourselves on two different sides. Where is it going to go? I'm not quite sure. They're still wavering with this, and we'll see what happens with it. But, gone are the days of, loyal, honest people.
Right.
A lot of times people feel the need to poach and go out, and that's just not fair for everything that you've built. I always say you can always leave. You can take a job anywhere, just not with any one of my clients. I'm not
Right. That's right.
stopping
I mean,
you.
that's only fair.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
Right. Right.
But you want to also like have a firm culture that that you have fun, and like we have a lot of sarcasm in our office. It's a necessity to work here. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Because if you don't, you're not. You want to enjoy coming to work. You know, and have a snack drawer, and we have lunches, and I brought back Turkish delights, and everybody was like, oh.
They didn't like it. What's Turkish delight? It's a candy, isn't it?
I brought back Turkish delights, and I have to be honest, we did the taste testing yesterday. We even put our mailman through it today,
What is
and
it?
they're just very. The ones that I came back with were like kind of like marshmallow in the middle, the sesame on the outside.
Hmm.
They had rosemary with gel orange on the middle. It was
Yeah.
It wasn't a Hershey bar.
no, no, you know.
But you
So,
brought back a
but
lot of tea. You told me you brought back all this Turkish tea.
I did. I brought back some apple tea. I bought some passion tea. I bought some circulation tea. I bought some sleep tea. I have enough tea to last me. Well, I also brought it so that I could send it off as gifts as well. So, but I have enough tea. Like now we're going in the summer and I don't drink tea. I only drink it in the winter. So,
And then you have your, I never forget the spice story. Tell the spice story.
oh, do I have to tell my spice story?
I love that spice
So,
story.
so,
Well, now
so I
you
went to
do.
Dubai. I went to Dubai and we went to the search and we went to the spice market. And I came back with Arabic coffee, which is great. I have dark, I have light. I came back with figs. I came back with cardamom seed. And I came back with saffron. Trying to think, what else did I come back with? Well, the saffron is really what threw me over the edge. And so I couldn't understand why my Capital One was calling me to say they're not approving my charge. And I finally like approved it through and it was $3,000
For saffron.
for saffron, which is very expensive. By the way, I have like this much in a big jar of saffron.
Yeah, a little goes a
And I
long
throw it in
way.
my
But she
tea.
goes, you wouldn't believe what I spent on saffron. I go, I know it's a lot. I go, how much? And she's telling me, I'm like, holy
I
smokes.
have no idea how expensive saffron, but I have the liquid gold. Just saying. So, and I throw that in my tea, and we will whittle that baby down. Don't you worry.
Yeah, okay. My mom, I have a good saffron bread recipe my mom would make every year. It's delish.
Well,
It's so
yeah,
good
yeah.
you'd eat
Send
the
it my
bread
way.
raw.
Yeah, send it my way because I have
Okay,
enough saffron
okay.
to last me a lifetime.
So if you were to tell your younger self or someone out there a tip, what would you do? What would you tell yourself to start if you were to start now?
That's a really good question because, like, one of the things that I have learned is communication is kind of, it's major. It's major in this. Because when you talk about sales, not everybody hears the same language. That's probably one of the things I learned with DISC, which is we use a lot of that in our office here. Are you dominant, influencing, steadiness, or compliance? Because each person has a little bit of everything of it. But the communication style for me is I'm very direct or I'm very influencing. I'm a salesperson. Everybody has that different style and you need to learn the communication style of each person because whether you're doing sales, whether you're working with your team, whether you're working with your clients. Everybody's style of communication is totally different. It's
Yep.
not about, like, if you get that down first, then the work is easier because you know you're communicating with people the way that you need to.
So where did you learn that? Because that's like that DISC method, the DISC. Where did
Yeah,
you
well,
learn that?
that came through a business coach. I had a great business coach, and he made me do all the hard things. Like, for example, like write a job description and then make sure that your review ties back to your job description, and that you're pointing a point scale for each element of your job description to your review, so that you're covering that people are actually doing the work within the job description. And so then, he also made me do my personal goals versus what my business goals were. And
Now,
then
have your goals changed over the years? Or how have they changed?
well, I don't want to work as much. I want to travel more. Um, and I'm very selective about the clients that I take on. I don't have to take every client on. It's okay to say no, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, it's okay to say no. And that was a very hard lesson to learn.
How did you learn it?
Well, when the little voice in the back of my head is screaming to me to run, I actually started listening to it, because after you've done one too many of those, you learn to listen to it. Like, no, I don't want to take this engagement on. I literally had an attorney, before I went on vacation, referred from the bar. Now, he's in trouble. I sent over my engagement, and he felt the need to change the verbiage in my contract to put an arbitration clause in if he poached my employees, which was an automatic run. And then number two, he didn't like my payment terms. And number three, the confidentiality. I could have gotten past the confidentiality and the payment terms, but I was not willing to be flexible or change my engagement for him, because I'm not the one that's in trouble. He is. And so I walked away from the engagement.
Wow. But you finally learned to trust yourself, that you are smarter than you think.
Well, I don't have to. You know what I mean? I have enough work coming in. And, when Ernie passed, it was a year of not taking clients in, because I needed to make sure that I was okay.
Right.
And I wasn't okay. You know what I mean? Like, he passed in January. I was fortunate enough for Kelly to come back into the company to do all our 1099 processing. I had been away. I had been in the British Virgin Islands. I had a week left to do 70 clients and 1099s to process in 1 week. And then I had to make sure I got all the clients out the door. I did not take a day off when he died. I did the service, and I kept running ever since. And it wasn't until May until I took some time off. And, like, you do the things to do that you need to survive.
Right? Because he died a year ago, January.
Yeah.
And he got sick while we were at Appy Camp.
Yes.
So you've been dealing with it almost 2 years now.
Yeah. And then his whole family left me.
Yeah, it's tough.
It was, we all have those moments in our life that make or break. And this was a rebuild year for me in itself. I mean, I did grief counseling, I did biofeedback, I did Reiki. I kept saying to Deb, like, I couldn't figure out what was the factor that was really, like, I know we live, we all die, that's part of life, but there was a piece that really ripped open, and it was abandonment for me.
Uh-huh.
And it goes back to when we were at Reframe, when we were trying to come up with our 2-word brand. All of us were struggling with this. It was like the hardest class with Chris Doe. And, I actually came up with mine, and it was, and I haven't even run it through Carlos yet to say, like, hey, does this even work? But it was Abandoned Blossom. So taking the negativity and putting it with some positivity.
Right. And that was a Chris Doe workshop we went through at Reframe.
Yep.
And, so those of you that are interested in Reframe, don't miss it. It's in
highly
November?
Recommend it. What I love about
November.
it is it's small, it's intimate. There are a lot of great working exercises. It's different. It's not a conference. I would say it's a workshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a working workshop that you're working on you. It's different than Woodard, which I would also recommend, because there's so much that you can take away from there.
Yeah, I mean, a reframe is totally. We had our friend Sharon go. I talked Sharon into going, and I said, it's not like any other. You're either going to hate it, you're going to love it, you know. So,
Correct.
and she goes,
Correct.
I loved
You
it,
know,
told you. But it's not like your typical conference. It's you really work on yourself more than anything else at that conference. But it's a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun, and I enjoy the conferences through the years, but I think I'm at the point in my career where I'm being very intentional with my time, my energy, and who I interact with.
Well, I'm really grateful that you decided to interact with us
Yes.
today.
I'm so glad you guys could have me on. This is so well, like, it's overdue. It's really overdue.
I
And,
know, because I mean, I've dealt with Laurie's been around since, well, you're like my first accounting friend. Because you were the first one I met at the Sleater conference way back when we were in Orlando. I didn't know what year it was.
oh my God, and
Um,
Deb loved dressing up and winning the costumes. And I mean, we had a lot of fun back then.
Oh,
We
yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
it was work too, don't get me wrong, but like, it was a lot of fun and a lot of great community. And I mean, that's the one thing I can say about this industry. I think we have a great community.
Mhm.
Whether you're going to Woodard, whether you're going to Reframe, and these are people that I feel like we grew up together. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. We've been, all my best friends go to conference. I met them all at conferences.
Yes. Yep.
You know,
I would say that. I am
Yeah.
closer to the friends that at conference than I am the friends that are here.
right. Because they get me. I mean, when they get excited about a bank, did you see the new bank rec? Do you like it or you hate it? I mean, you go to your other
No
friends, they
comment, no
go,
comment.
what? So we always ask the one question. Well, Don, you want to ask Lori anything or one big question we want to ask her?
Yeah, so what's your one big idea, the one takeaway you want to give to everyone who's listening today?
The one takeaway I would say is make sure that you invest in you. You know what I mean? Whether it's personally, business, always do something for you. Because if you work your life away, you don't have anything personal to show for it.
Right.
You want to be able to have that balance, and it really takes a long time to get to that point. I can say that because I've been in this industry 25 years. I've made those same mistakes. The one thing I can say is make a good friend at conference, because you will have that life friend 25 years from now.
Yes. Like we are.
Like we are. Exactly. So,
In fact, I have it on my calendar because I'm not a phone person. Lori
no,
is.
she's not.
And she goes, you never call me. I go, I don't call my kids. So I actually have it on my calendar to call Lori on Friday because otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Here was irony. She texted me. She's like, "Are you back yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to Troy, like the city of Troy, like the Trojan horse."
She's just amazing to me. But we are so thrilled you came and shared your a half hour plus with us today.
I'm so glad that I could be there. And you know what? I hope that that somebody takes something away from this. And like I'm always available to chat with. You know that. So
Yeah, and you'll see her on Facebook and LinkedIn, and she's like very social. So, but thank you
Yes,
again,
very
Lori,
much
for
so.
coming. And we want to thank Ramp for being our partner of the week, and sign up for
Thank
Small
you,
Business
Ramp.
Week 6 through 8. Donna, any last words?
Nope, just thank you. We'll put the links for signing up for RAMP and all the information in the description today. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for spending time with us today at Bookkeepers on Fire and sharing that time with Laurie O'Neil. If this conversation stuck with you, carry it forward. Your work matters. Your voice matters and you matter. So if you are a bookkeeper or accounting pro that'd like to be a guest on Bookkeepers on Fire, we will have a link there in the show notes to sign up to get notified when the new dates are being released. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Thanks.